Now, the Office of the President has received 2 additional petitions seeking the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo from office. These latest submissions bring the total number of petitions to 5, following 3 earlier ones filed separately on February 14 and March 17, 2025. Now, the petitions allege misconduct and abuse of power by the Chief Justice. While the specific details of the petitions remain confidential, sources confirm that the Chief Justice has been formally served with the documents. Now, for more insight into this developing story, we are joined by former Deputy Attorney General Dinah Asunaba Dapa. She'll help us unpack the contents of the petition submitted against the Chief Justice and examine her responses to the allegations. Thank you very much, and you're welcome, Madam.
Thank you, Prima. Thank you for having me.
Great. Now, based on the information currently available to the public, would you say the President and the Council of State had sufficient grounds to establish a prima facie case?
I thank you, Prima. Let me thank you and your viewers for this opportunity to engage in what I classify as a reflection, an intellectual reflection of the very tenets of our democracy built on the 1992 Constitution. And I would want us to start from the communications that emanate from the presidency. And for me, that is where my worry or concern starts from. Now, the communication indicates that, and I quote, President John Dramani Mahama, in accordance with Article 146 of the Constitution and in consultation with the Council of State, determined that a prima facie case had been established in respect of 3 petitions, not in respect of 1 of the 3 or 1 of the 5 or 2 of the 3, in respect of 3 petitions against the Chief Justice. And then it goes on and on and on.
Right.
Now, my worry is based on 2 views. For instance, take the petition by the alleged petition by the Savior Group, where the basis of all the complaints is emanating from a decision by the Supreme Court presided over by the Honorable Chief Justice. And for me, I want to draw our attention to the very recent case of a J2, not quite recent case, which is the latest, I should say, reflection on the tenets of Article 146. And that Justice Databa indicated, made a very profound statement, I think at page 3 of that judgment, where he said, and this was in respect of an objection to one of the parties, that the Chief Justice will empanel the court in a determination of a dispute relating to a petition that had been brought against the Chief Justice. And hear what Justice Databa said, and I want Ghanaians, all right-thinking Ghanaians, to reflect on this sober statement. He says, and I quote, "Judges are not malleable clay in the hands of the Chief Justice." In other words, are you telling us that by empaneling us, we do not have our independent thinking? And for me, to find that petition in itself, based on a decision not by the Chief Justice, but as part of a panel, it impugns the integrity of the other judges who sat with the Chief Justice. It impugns the independent thinking of the other judges. And I dare say that all the other judges who sat in respect of the cases that the Savior Group have, the members led by its supposed convener, have raised the case against, must feel very denigrated that you are suggesting, and any form of suggesting, however remote it is, to suggest that all the other panel, which are usually the panel consists of not fewer than 5 justices, they don't have an independent thinking. And so their decision could be attributed to the Chief Justice, the basis of which is a ground for removal. For me, leaves a lot to be, a lot to be desired. And I do not see by any stretch of imagination why a decision by a panel, the CJ, it is no news for a CJ presiding on a panel to be to have a dissenting view or to be part of the minority. And so to make any claim whatsoever, and again, the J2 is very decisive on that matter, that a panel sits, and it is not the Chief Justice sitting as a single justice, but as part of a panel. And then you allude, in a way, that the other judges who are sitting with the Chief Justice on the panel do not have independent thinking and are controlled and are malleable clay, as described by Justice Professor Dateba in the J-Chum case, to be controlled by the Chief Justice. It leaves a lot to be desired. And for me, even looking at it, that this such a petition is a ground for making a prima facie determination, I feel trouble for the other judges who sat with the panel. Similar to the alleged one by the one Akogo, the police officer who is also a lawyer. In fact, he then apparently allegedly is the one who attaches a scintilla of evidence from a supposed the news platform called the Law Platform as a basis for saying that the CJ sitting on the panel unilaterally caused his arrest. And in that same, go and check the Law Platform news for that day. There is that reportage that even some of the judges interjected, including the respected chairman of the committee that has been set up to look into the petitions, even interjected that you cannot be violent to this court. You cannot be disrespectful to this court. And as a panel, when the Chief Justice sits, she has a one vote, as do the other individual judges. And then there are interjections and support by the other panel members as to the discourtesy, the disrespect, and the disdain of the support petitioner against the child. And this is a basis for finding a prima facie case. This is equally worrying.
Now, Dinah, is this to suggest that the Council of State and the President acted in bad faith?
For whatever it is, my position is that there is no remote basis, not even remotely, for finding a prima facie case in respect of these petitions. Now, if you look at the leakage, the supposed petition that has come, you have Daniel Ofori even stating explicitly that at this point, I am not required to offer any evidence in support of my claim. In other words, the mere fact that I put pen to paper to allege supposed stated misbehavior against the Chief Justice is a ground for making a prima facie determination. This again is worrying. He boldly states that in his petition, that I'm not required. And so I come in and make allegations against you. The CJ we see in the leakage also then offers evidence in response to it. And we see all three petitions as finding a basis for the determination of a prima facie case. I am worried. Every right-thinking Ghanaian should equally be worried about the independence of our judiciary, about the protection of our democracy as a country. And for me, I have no doubt in my mind that the finding of a prima facie case is unconstitutional and was wrong.
Very well, former Deputy Attorney General Dinah Asnah Badapa, thank you very much for your time.